You think you're looking at the world. But the truth is, the world is looking back at you. Every sound, every face, every challenge you face today is not happening to you, but through you. That's the part no one tells you. You are not living inside reality. Reality is living inside of you. Most people move through life believing they are separate, that their thoughts are private whispers, and the world outside is solid and objective. But what if that's the greatest illusion of all? What if the universe isn't a machine made of matter, but a mirror made of consciousness? Take a moment. Look around you. Everything you see is not just happening out there. It's responding to the frequency you're carrying in here. Your emotions are not random. They are instruments tuning the field around you. Your attention is not passive. It's creative. Every thought you choose to hold becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of existence. You've been told life is a series of events you can't control. But maybe, just maybe, life is a reflection waiting for your recognition. Because the moment you realize this, something extraordinary happens. The mirror changes. The faces you meet start showing compassion when you carry peace. Opportunities appear the instant you stop expecting rejection. Doors open when you stop staring at walls. You've heard the words before. You create your own reality. But what if it's more literal than anyone imagined? Quantum physics has already whispered the secret. The observer affects the observed. Which means you are not just part of the equation. You are the equation. Every thought, every glance, every word is a frequency code. And the universe, like a living algorithm, arranges itself to match it. You say, I am alone, and the mirror reflects solitude. You say, I am loved, and suddenly, the reflection changes shape. Not because the world shifted, but because you did. So here's the question that will rewrite your life. If reality is your mirror, what image are you showing it right now? Pause. Feel it. Because this awareness, is the beginning of power. Once you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the pulse behind them, everything you touch begins to move differently. The storm no longer feels like punishment. It becomes the echo of your own awakening. The silence no longer feels empty. It becomes the space where new worlds are born. This is not philosophy. It's remembrance. The soul remembering that it was never separate from creation. You are not observing the universe. You are the universe, observing itself through your eyes. And the moment you understand that, the mirror stops reflecting. It starts responding. 200 years ago, a man fired particles through a pair of slits. He had no idea he was about to expose the greatest secret in the universe. His name was Thomas Young. The experiment, the double slit, the revelation. Reality listens when you look at it. Here's what happened. When no one was watching, the electrons behaved like waves, free, fluid, infinite. They spread out into endless possibilities. But the moment someone observed them, everything changed. The waves collapsed into particles. The infinite became fixed. The invisible potential turned into a single outcome. Think about that. The universe was waiting, in pure potential, until consciousness looked at it. That means the very act of observing transforms energy into matter. Awareness shapes existence. Perception builds the physical world. This isn't mysticism. It's quantum mechanics. And it changes everything you thought you knew about life. Because if matter reacts to observation, then your awareness is not passive, it's creative. You are not a spectator of the universe. You are its participant, its conductor. When you understand this, every moment becomes sacred. Every glance, every thought, every intention, an act of creation. Your focus is the paintbrush. Your attention, the light that carves possibility into form. You don't live inside reality. Reality unfolds inside your gaze. Imagine two people standing side by side. One sees chaos, failure, and pain. The other sees opportunity, growth, and purpose. Same world, different observers, different realities. So ask yourself, which world are you choosing to see? The ancient mystics and modern scientists finally agree. The observer is the observed. You are the lens through which the infinite becomes real. When you feel fear and the world looks threatening, it's not because life has turned dark. It's because your focus has tuned into that frequency. Shift your attention, and the reflection follows. When you radiate gratitude, suddenly you begin noticing blessings that were invisible before. When you embody love, people respond to you like mirrors catching sunlight. That's not luck. That's alignment. the quantum field responding to its own vibration through you. So next time you look at your life and say, "This is just the way things are," remember, that's not truth. That's just one version of reality you've been observing long enough to believe. There are infinite others waiting to collapse into your experience. All they need is your observation. Your focus is the switch. You don't have to fight for a better life. You simply have to see one. Hold it in your awareness long enough for the universe to recognize the signal. Because reality doesn't change when you struggle harder. It changes when you look differently. And now that you know the power of your observation, you're ready for the next step, learning how to use it consciously. Because power without awareness is chaos. But power with awareness? That's creation. There's a moment that most people never notice. It's small, silent, and invisible. But inside it hides the power to change everything. That moment is the pause. The space between stimulus and response. Between what happens and how you react. Most people live like this. Something goes wrong, they explode. Someone criticizes, they defend. A thought appears, they believe it. They are prisoners of reflex. And yet, freedom begins the instant you stop reacting. Because when you stop, really stop, you step out of the storm and into the eye of awareness. You become the observer, not the emotion. The witness, not the wave. Try it. The next time you feel anger rise, don't suppress it, watch it. The next time fear crawls in, don't run, observe it. Ask yourself quietly, who is watching this? That question is a doorway. It leads you from identification to liberation. Because the moment you watch your thought, you are no longer the thought. You are the consciousness behind it. And in that space, that pause, everything changes. That's where you begin to realize. Your mind is a screen, not the actor. Your emotions are weather, not the sky. Your body is an instrument, not the musician. The world hasn't been happening to you. It's been happening through your interpretation. When you stop reacting, the world softens. The chaos loses grip. What once triggered you now feels distant, almost harmless. Because you've remembered something ancient. You were never the storm. You were always the sky holding it. And when you live from that awareness, the patterns that kept you trapped start to dissolve. Fear can't control you when you can see it. Anger loses its bite when you don't feed it attention. Pain transforms into information, just energy asking to move. This is how you break the loop. Not by fighting your emotions, but by watching them until they run out of fuel. The old reality is built on reactivity. The new one is born from presence. This is the practice of awareness. To see without judging. To feel without drowning. To pause without resisting. And in that sacred stillness, a new timeline begins to open. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to force. It responds to frequency. And your frequency rises every time you choose observation over reaction. Soon, that space between trigger and response grows wider. You start to notice the patterns, the thoughts that always lead to fear, the people who mirror your hidden wounds. And instead of being trapped inside them, you stand outside, watching, free. This is not detachment. It's clarity. You still care. You just don't collapse. You are awake inside the dream. And that changes everything. Because now, for the first time, you have access to the most creative power in existence. The ability to choose your observation consciously. That's the next step. To not just pause, but to shift. To turn your awareness toward the frequency of the life you actually want to live. The old you reacted. The new you observes and redirects. And that's how reality begins to bend. Everything you want already exists. Not in the future. Not in your dreams. Right now. In a different frequency of reality. You don't need to build it from scratch. You just need to tune in. Because the universe isn't one solid timeline. It's a spectrum of infinite versions of you, each vibrating at a different emotional frequency. There's a version of you who's stuck in fear, another who's already free, a version who's chasing love, and one who is love itself. The question isn't whether these realities exist. The question is, which one are you observing? Here's the secret the mind forgets. You cannot experience what you don't match. Reality is not chosen with your wishes. It's chosen with your vibration. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So how do you shift frequencies? How do you move from the timeline of struggle to the one where everything flows? It begins with radical honesty. Step 1. Identify your current frequency. Ask yourself, what emotions do I feed most often? What stories do I tell about who I am? What do I expect from life when I wake up each morning? Your answers are coordinates in the quantum field. They tell the universe where you're tuned. Step 2. Embody the version of you that already has what you desire. Not someday now. Close your eyes and find that version in your imagination. The confident you, the peaceful you, the fulfilled you. How does that version feel? Walk like them. Breathe like them. Think like them. Because that version isn't a fantasy. It's a frequency waiting for you to step into it. The shift doesn't require effort. It requires alignment. Reality bends to the energy you maintain consistently, not to the effort you make occasionally. So here's a truth that may sound simple, but is revolutionary. Stop waiting for proof. Be the proof. Stop chasing the result. Become the vibration of the result. Because reality doesn't argue, it mirrors. When you begin to embody your desired frequency, everything around you starts to reorganize. Not instantly, but inevitably. People leave. New ones arrive. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. You feel lighter, clearer, more magnetic. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. You've shifted from forcing outcomes to aligning with outcomes. And yet, there's one more step. The most powerful of all. Step 3. Maintain the frequency. Hold the state long enough for it to become your new default. Your old patterns will try to pull you back. Old doubts, old fears, old timelines. Don't fight them. Observe them. Smile. You know what they are now. Echoes of the past fading out. Stay in your new state, even when the outer world hasn't caught up yet. That's where 99% of people lose the shift. They look for external confirmation too soon. But the quantum truth is this. The universe always lags behind the observer. Your inner change comes first. Reality follows. So hold the new frequency until it becomes who you are. Until thinking differently feels natural. Until peace feels like home. Because the day that happens, you won't need to manifest anything. You'll simply exist in harmony with what you once desired. You won't be chasing a dream. You'll be living it. And from that moment on, you'll know. You never had to create the new reality. You only had to remember it. And tune in. You've come this far. You've learned to observe. You've learned to shift. But there's one more revelation waiting. The moment when all limits dissolve. Because everything you've ever called a limit was never real. It was a thought, accepted long enough to become a wall. You were told how far you can go, how much is possible, what's realistic. And you believed it. Not because it was true, but because you forgot that you were the one deciding what's true. Look closely. Every rule of your old reality was written by someone else's fear. Every can't, don't, and shouldn't was a frequency borrowed from those who stopped believing. But today, that contract ends. Because when you stop believing in limits, they vanish. Instantly. You don't have to break the walls. You only have to stop agreeing they exist. This is the final shift. From creator of moments to architect of infinity. Ask yourself, if I truly knew I was limitless, what would I choose right now? How would I speak? What would I stop postponing? What would I allow myself to receive? Most people never ask these questions because the answers terrify the small self. The version still pretending to be fragile, temporary, incomplete. But you've seen beyond that illusion. You know that the same consciousness shaping stars is breathing through you, that the same intelligence spinning galaxies is guiding every heartbeat, every thought, every choice. You are not separate from the infinite. You are the infinite, remembering itself. When you move from that knowing, everything changes. You stop waiting for signs. You become the sign. You stop searching for the path. You walk as the path. You stop chasing meaning. You radiate it. The world starts responding to a different kind of energy. One that doesn't ask permission. One that doesn't explain. One that simply is. And when people ask, how are you so calm? How are you creating so easily? How did your life transform so fast? You'll smile and say, I stopped believing I was small. Because that's all it ever was, a belief. And the moment you outgrow it, reality rearranges itself to match your expansion. There's no finish line. No destination where enlightenment waits. There's only this, a continuous unfolding of awareness, a dance between observer and creation, between stillness and motion, between the infinite and the form. You are both the ocean and the wave, both the dream and the dreamer, both the silence and the sound it gives birth to. So take a breath. Feel the pulse of the universe moving through you. It's not somewhere out there. It's here, in your chest, right now. From this moment on, Let every decision be made by your limitless self. Speak as if you already are the expanded version. Walk as if every step bends timelines. Love as if the whole universe is listening, because it is. And when doubt whispers again, and it will, smile gently. Remind it who you are. You are not here to survive reality. You are here to design it, to play with it, to awaken inside it. The universe is not testing you. It's reflecting you, always. So look into that reflection one last time and say it out loud, not as an affirmation, but as remembrance. I am the infinite, observing itself through this moment. And the mirror smiles back, because now it finally recognizes you.